Every trader dreams of freedom, waking up when you want, trading from anywhere, and watching profits grow with a single click. But the truth is, most traders never make it that far. What we rarely see are the sleepless nights, the endless self-doubt, and the emotional roller coaster behind every candlestick. This video isn't about strategies or indicators. It's about something far more important: the real journey every trader faces. The part nobody shows, the struggle, the lessons, and the moment everything changes. This is the story from blowing accounts to becoming profitable.
When I first discovered trading, it felt like I'd found a secret code to wealth. The internet was flooded with gurus in rented Lamborghinis, promising that financial freedom was just a few clicks away. It's simple, I told myself. Just watch these tutorials. Memorize a few chart patterns, and I'll be making thousands a week from my laptop. I remember the adrenaline rush of opening my first live account, depositing a sum that felt both terrifying and thrilling. I was so sure, so confident. I even sent a screenshot of my funded account to my friends with a cocky message. Get ready. I'm going to be the next big trader. First round of drinks on me when I hit my first 10K. I was living in a fantasy, fueled by beginner's luck on a demo account and a complete ignorance of what was to come.
But within weeks, the market served a brutal dose of reality. My first live trade, one I was so certain about, ended in red. Then another, and another. The small losses started to compound, chipping away not just at my capital, but at my ego. I started blaming my broker for slippage, my internet for lag, the market for being manipulated, anything and everything except my own flawed approach. I was chasing quick, euphoric profits without any real understanding of risk management. It was gambling, not trading. And before I knew it, a final, devastating loss wiped the slate clean. I had blown my first account. The silence after that final margin call was deafening. But the dream wasn't dead. It had just turned into an obsession. I deposited again, this time with a desperate promise to myself, I'll be more careful, I'll win it all back. But that promise was a lie. My decisions weren't driven by strategy, they were hijacked by raw emotion. Greed made me hold on to losing trades, hoping they'd turn around. Fear made me cut winning trades too early, leaving huge profits on the table. And worst of all was the revenge trading, jumping back into the market after a loss, trying to force a win, only to dig a deeper hole. Every click was emotional, not logical. The pattern repeated itself, account after account, loss after loss. That's when I finally learned the first, most painful truth of this journey. The market is a mirror. It doesn't care about your hopes or your ego. It simply reflects your own weaknesses back at you, again and again, until you have no choice but to face them. There was a night I'll never forget, a night that burned itself into my memory. I had just blown what little savings I had left, chasing a losing trade with reckless abandon, convinced I could force the market to bend to my will. I stared at my screen for hours, watching my balance hit zero. The numbers didn't even seem real. It was just a void where my future used to be. That silence. It was heavy, suffocating. The only sound was the frantic beating of my own heart, a drumbeat of panic and regret. I felt like a complete and utter failure. All the books I'd read, all the hours I'd spent studying charts, it all amounted to nothing. I thought maybe I wasn't smart enough. Maybe trading was just a gambler's game dressed up in fancy charts and terminology. Maybe I was just another fool who thought he could beat the house.
But as I looked at my reflection, something shifted. Deep down, I knew the problem wasn't the market. The market is just a force of nature. It doesn't know or care about me. The problem was my mindset, my ego, my desperate need to be right. I had treated trading like a slot machine, pulling the lever and hoping for a jackpot. I realized trading wasn't about predicting candles or finding a magic indicator. It was about controlling myself, my fear, my greed, my impatience. That night, I promised myself one thing. I'd stop trading to make money and start trading to master discipline. The profits, I reasoned, would be a byproduct of that mastery, not the goal itself.
So I took a break, a real one. I stepped away from the charts for 2 weeks to let the emotional wounds heal. I stopped chasing signals and unsubscribed from all the gurus promising overnight riches. I deleted every single indicator from my charts and went back to studying pure price action, learning to read the story the market was telling, not the one I wanted to hear. I started journaling every trade, not just the entry and exit, but why I entered, why I lost, and most importantly, what I felt. My journal became a mirror, reflecting my psychological flaws with brutal honesty. It wasn't easy, but that was the moment my real education began. I wasn't just learning to trade, I was learning to know myself. It was a profound shift in perspective. I finally understood that the most successful traders weren't just chart wizards with a secret formula. Their edge wasn't in predicting the market, but in controlling their own actions within it. They weren't winning because they had the best strategy. They were winning because they had the best discipline. They manage risk with unwavering consistency. They protect their capital as if it were their lifeblood. And they think in terms of years, not just the next trade. This realization was my turning point. It was time to stop looking for external solutions and start building my internal foundation. So, I tore up my old approach and started from scratch. I changed my rules completely. First, no more risking more than 1% of my capital on any single trade. This wasn't just a rule, it was a psychological shield. It meant no single loss could ever cripple my account or my confidence. Second, no more trading when emotional. If I felt angry after a loss or euphoric after a win, the screen went off. The market would be there tomorrow, but my capital wouldn't if I let my feelings take the wheel. And third, absolutely no more forcing setups that weren't there. My new mantra became, if it's not a clear A+ setup, it's a pass. I became a professional waiter. I learned to be patient, waiting for quality instead of chasing quantity. Days turned into weeks. The process was slow, almost boring. But I started seeing small wins. Not huge, life-changing profits, but consistent, repeatable results. And with that consistency, something profound began to shift. My confidence. It wasn't the arrogant confidence of a gambler on a hot streak, but the quiet assurance of a professional executing a plan. I was no longer reacting to the market's every whim. I was responding with clarity and purpose. That's when I truly understood. Consistency isn't a strategy you find. It's a mindset you build, one disciplined decision at a time. Once I accepted that trading is 80% psychology and 20% strategy, everything changed. I started understanding what most beginners ignore. You don't grow your account first, you grow your mindset first. I stopped comparing myself to others. I stopped trying to double my money overnight. I focused on progress, not perfection. And that's when I finally became consistent. It didn't happen in 1 month or 1 year. It was a long journey of mistakes, self-reflection, and patience. The market didn't reward me because I was lucky. It rewarded me because I became disciplined enough to deserve it. If you've ever blown an account, listen closely. You are not alone. Every successful trader you admire has been there. They've cried over charts. They've doubted themselves. The difference is, they didn't quit. The pain you feel right now is part of the process. Every loss, every mistake, every sleepless night, it's shaping you into the trader you're meant to become. Your biggest growth comes right after your biggest setback. Don't trade for money. Trade to master yourself. Because when you master patience, discipline, and risk, the profits will follow naturally. This is the real trader's journey, not about winning every trade, but becoming the person who can handle both wins and losses with balance. You're not behind. You're just in the building phase of your story. So keep going, keep learning, keep showing up. Because one day, you'll look back and realize, every blown account was just a chapter in the book that made you a profitable trader. If this message hit home, subscribe and join the family. We rise, fall, and rise again.